Did you know that the first 100 days of the year can significantly improve your overall success? Happy New Year, folks. Happy New Year. Now, I want to share a couple of tips with you today. First of all, we're going to talk about the power of momentum, and then I'm going to give you a few key strategies to set you up for your first 100 days. And then I want to help you avoid some of the most common pitfalls when it comes to making this your best year ever. Now, first off, let's talk a little bit about the power of momentum. You may not realize this, but small actions can eventually set yourself up to where that turns into a huge snowball. And we've all heard the story about the snowball. As it rolls down the hill on the snow, it continuously gets what? It gets larger and larger and larger till, oh my goodness, you are absolutely making huge progress towards your goals. Not only that, if you start out with really small steps, remember we talked about don't just talk about the next small step that you can take, not some big huge step, but a small step that you can make every day to go towards your dream. That's what you need to focus on. A very small incremental baby step. What's the next thing that you can do? Now, in addition to that, it does something to you psychologically. When we're talking about our personal finances and getting out of debt, even though financially the best option would be start with the ones that are the highest interest rates, because overall it's going to save you the most money. But that is not the best way to do it in my particular recommendation. I like Dave Ramsey's plan because it does something psychologically to you. When you start with the small ones and you start knocking them out, then you start gaining momentum. Well, the same thing can happen with your goals of your life for 2025. All of those little small incremental wins are going to boost your confidence. It's going to motivate you to keep going, and it's, basically your overall sense of accomplishment. And that's what you want in this first 100 days. You want to start, you want to keep going, you want to start building some habits, and then all of a sudden you are running. You start off small, baby steps, then you start picking up the pace, then you start running, and then you can start sprinting, okay? And that's how it works. Next, here's some key strategies for that first 100 days. First of all, you want to break those down into small, achievable baby steps, okay? Remember the SMART method that we talked about? You want it to be specific, measurable, achievable, a little bit scary, relevant, put a time frame to it. You've heard all of that, okay? So you want to be very clear. First of all, you want to cast your vision. We talked about that. What is it you want your year to look like? What would it take for this year, 2025, to be the perfect year for you or the best year ever? Cast that vision. This is a problem that many people have. This is why you don't have a great year, because you've never sat down and really focused and thought about what's it going to take. Because you can't hit a target that you don't know where the target is or what the target is. You just can't. You're just going through life, allowing life to happen to you. That's not what I want to happen to you this year. So you've got to set some goals. Now, over the first 100 days, you're going to set your foundation, and then you're going to start working on those goals, small baby steps. That's going to gain momentum for the rest of the year, for the other 3 quarters of the year. The next thing is building habits. You got to focus on building new habits one at a time. One of the problems that people don't realize is we go through life and almost 50% of our day is on autopilot, which means our subconscious mind is taking control over that. So if you can build a habit, and we know this scientifically, that half of our day we're on autopilot, it would make sense that if we want to go and achieve these big, humongous goals, we need to put some habits behind them. So you need to focus on building one habit at a time. And the way that I suggest that you do this is you need to make a list, and this is on our January to-do list. You make a list of all your bad habits or the habits that you would like to change on one side. And then you draw an arrow, and what are you going to replace that bad habit with? Because you can't just stop a bad habit. It's a habit, so something has to replace it. This is why so many times you see smokers run around and they've got a peppermint or something in their hand. They have to have something fidget because that's become such a habit that they've got to have something between their fingers. Now, I'm not a smoker, so I don't understand that, but that is what I have been told, and that's what I have learned. So you can also, when you're trying to build these habits, you can use habit stacking. So, for example, after you brush your teeth, you do this. Or while you're brushing your teeth, if you want to, for example, read your Bible in a year, what you might do is while you're brushing your teeth and putting on your makeup, you might turn that Bible app on and listen to your Bible scripture for that day. Okay, that's called habit stacking. Next, you want to track your progress and celebrate small wins. Folks, people will not respect what you do not inspect. The same thing with you. If you do not hold yourself accountable or have somebody else to hold yourself accountable, nothing is going to work. You're not going to experience these big breakthroughs like I know that you're wanting to achieve in 2025. You're just not. So you have to look at the end of each day. This is what the recommended strategy is. At the end of the day, review the day. What was your wins? What could you do better? What insights did you gain from that day? And you plan the next day. That's what you need to do at the end of every day. Take a look at it. Because y'all, we talked about this. We closed the book of 2024. We closed it. We set it over to the side. This is a brand new year with 365 days that we have. We may not have that many, but right now, let's just say we've got 365 days. We want to make the most of every single day. Don't squander them because you're never going to get this time back, okay? So you've got to track your progress, see how you're doing. Next, part 3. I want to help you avoid any of the pitfalls. You might feel a little bit overwhelmed. This is one of the things that people say when they're setting some big, bodacious goals. That's why you don't set 100 goals for the year. You can set them, but you've got to pull them out and say, okay, this month, this week, this quarter, these are the 3 to 5 that I'm going to totally focus on this quarter, this month, this week. And that is where your attention, because where your attention goes, energy flows. Have you heard that saying? Where your attention goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to get, and you're going to get more of it. So if you ramble and you're pulled in a million different directions, you're not going to be able to get anything done. So you want to be laser focused. Today's target, what am I going to be focusing on today? For the last couple of days, I have been focused on getting my house reorganized, getting the Christmas items out. I'm going to, we've got Mom here, and so I've got a bunch of mobility devices and different things that just kind of got the house cluttered up and stuff everywhere. And so I'm feeling that. And as I told you before, cluttered closets, cluttered drawers, cluttered desk, all of this stuff decreases your productivity. And I want to be the most productive that I have ever been in 2025 because I got a lot of huge things that I want to accomplish. So I don't want nothing holding me back. So I'm going to clean everything out. I'm going to get the drawers all done. This is my focus. I'm going to get that office that's used as a storage room right now. I'm going to get my big, beautiful library back so that I can get in there and enjoy myself. And that is my area. That is, around with my books surrounding me and all of that stuff. That's where I get lots of really great ideas. And I just love that room. And so I've got to get that fixed. Closets. It drives me crazy. So we've got to get our closet situation. So these are the focus for the foundation. Decluttering, get things cleaned up. That's going to be my sole focus for the next couple of days. So you need to do the same thing. Now, your burnout. Sometimes pushing yourself too hard and you neglect self-care. Now, this is one of the areas that I didn't really realize till over the holidays that I had really kind of been neglecting. Many times women don't neglect that. I have heard it said that women would forego food and eating out and all of that stuff than they would forego their nails. Now, I have never been that person. I'll just be honest with you. I have never been. But I guess there's a lot of ladies that they're not going to give up their hair. They're not going to give up their nails. They're not going to give up their spa, whatever. So whatever that is for you, don't neglect your self-care. Don't neglect exercise. That's my biggest one that I neglected in 2024. And although I paid lip service to it, I didn't put any action behind those words. And I didn't get the weight off like I had promised myself. And I just didn't do it. I'll be honest. I just didn't do it. I sat there 6 months out, 90 days out before my birthday, all of these things, and I just didn't do it. So in 2025, I've got to be laser focused on my health. And we talked about your key performance indicators on that particular area. Well, for me and this group, the Level Up 2025, we're going to be focusing on improving every area of our life, not just health, fitness, and nutrition, but every area. So we've got some big work to do. But again, we've got to set it down, write it down, make it happen, and start working on these things in bite-sized pieces. Next thing is you've got to avoid lack of consistency. Many people, you've probably heard it talked about, the New Year's resolution. After 2 weeks, over 88% of everybody's resolutions are gone. Why? Because they just give up after a few setbacks. And we talked about this in a previous video, how you need to have a plan B. For example, I'm talking about exercise a lot, but you know, if you want to say one of your goals is to walk 30 minutes a day and it's raining outside or it's super cold, what are you going to do? What's your plan B? You need to have a plan B and C, because guess what? Things are going to happen. I had to laugh. I swear it's the devil. Because I put up a barricade for the new pooch that we've got, and I was planning on going out and starting my new exercise routine, which is a lot of different things, but primarily here in the neighborhood, I want to bike and I want to walk. And I went to go over that barricade and I slipped and I fell. I mean, I fell hard, and we've got wood floors. And it's funny, now that I'm older, you know, one of the first things I think about was, oh, good grief, did I break something? You know, am I okay? Am I okay? Husband comes running over there, and, you know, I've got a hurt leg a little bit, you know, some bruising. And so what's my plan B? Well, my plan B is I can still do weights. I may not can walk and jog and ride my bicycle right now, but I can do some weights, right? I can do some other things. I sure can. I'm not limited for that. So just because I'm hurting down here doesn't mean that there's not something else that I can do. So lack of consistency. And you may not see results right away. Some results are not automatic. Some results you don't see, like immediately. And we are a nation filled and a world filled with people who like instant gratification. So I'm going to encourage you to keep persevering, be consistent, because eventually you will see results. It's those little small baby steps. You probably heard the saying, how do you eat an elephant? And they say 1 bite at a time. The same thing with your goals. If you have a list of activities that it's going to take to get you from A to Z, then A, B, and C, you may not can see some huge results. But you keep going and you check off that list, eventually you're going to get there. So that's what I want to encourage you to do there. So be consistent. The other one is procrastination. You keep on putting off the important task and you allow distractions to derail your progress. You know you need to do X, Y, Z. Many times people have said, do the hard thing first and just get it knocked out, because otherwise it's going to be in the back of your mind all day long, nagging at you, and that's going to keep you from being productive. So next is your call of action for today. I want you, if you have not done anything else, but sit down and make sure that you create a vision for your life and set a few goals in these categories and figure out where your focus is going to be. Now, I know we had the first, which was in the middle of the week, and many times you're eating and going out and doing all partying, whatever, for the new year, and you may not be starting this new year until Monday. Some of you didn't. I got a jump start on mine a few days early. But anyway, some of you may be starting on Monday. So you need to use the next couple of days to start setting your foundation. Again, I really believe that January should be a foundation month. This is where you get things together. You figure out what it's going to look like. You start setting up what habits that you want to build. And then you start your little action list, your little daily tick list, your to-do list on what it's going to take to get you over the next 12 weeks. Because remember, we're not talking about the whole year. We're only talking about 12 weeks. And for today's topic, why the first 100 days matter, that is a critical juncture in setting up your whole year. It really is, because you want to build that momentum. You want to build that into a snowball so that you can really make a lot of accomplishment by the time your second quarter comes, third quarter and fourth quarter and end. And, most people, if they would follow this structure, they could accomplish more in 12 weeks than most people do in an entire year, or sometimes in a lifetime. It's just from being laser focused on what it is that you want for your life. So I'm going to end today. And one of the things that I want to remind you to do, if you haven't done it, is start your series of gratitude every morning or in the evening of all the things that you're grateful for. And for this week, our gratitude category is people. I want you to be grateful and write it down. Who are the people in your lives that you are grateful for? It could be teachers, it could be mentors, it could be family members, friends, it could be grandparents, it could be anybody, colleagues, old bosses. Many times we learn what not to do is more powerful than what to do. We have these examples of leaders and bosses that we've had in our life. So this week, your first week in January, I want you to focus on people that you are grateful for. I've got one on here right now. It looks like that he's watching. Barry Colton, I am grateful for you. You inspire me, and I love you, and I'm so grateful to have met you about 4 years ago. So anyways, y'all, that is just how easy it is that, when you meet great people, make sure you tell them how much you love them and appreciate them. It's very, very important. So this is Nancy Gaskins, sowing seeds of hope and opportunity in communities around the globe. Join me this year as we level up 2025 and improve every area of our life. May this be your best year ever.